left the school by the back door and started up Pig Street and went fast. He went fast. The lights had gone out for a few minutes just before 3, and he was nervous about being outside. He planned to take the long way to the pipeworks, out at the very edge of the city to avoid any guards that still might be looking for him. Pause right here. Why are the guards looking for him? Because they're accusing him of doing what was that? Doing something really bad. There's rumors. He's spreading rumors. Okay. What? Tiles? Where are you? Kiosk? At the top of the page? Kiosk? Remember that's the little things like at the mall? You have the stores in the mall, and then in the middle they have those little huts where they sell stuff. No, like the little... Yeah, when they sell the phone cases. Follow, keep on. Change the movie. Follow. It was filled with dread about Lena. He wouldn't know what had happened to her until he got to the pipeworks. And she showed up or didn't. All he could do now was run. Gio, over here.
Yeah, I see.
Yep. Following along with things.
This is what right here.
Thank you, Gio. Thank you, Gio. Gio. Thank you for making this harder. No. There's a consistent pattern of you needing to go to the bathroom while reading. You can go after we finish reading. No, no one's going to the bathroom. Giovanni? Deduction. You just stop. I told you guys before reading this for class. So I'm going to be professional. He was full of dread about Lena. He wouldn't know what had happened to her until he got to the pipe, and she either showed up or didn't. All he could do now was run. He raced down Mack Street. It was strange to be out of the city, and with the streets so utterly deserted. Without the people passing back and forth, the streets seemed wider and darker. Nothing moved but himself, his shadow, and his fleeting reflection in shop windows. Yanti, he passed in Silverton Square. He saw a kiosk where the poster with his and Lena's names on it had been pinned up. Everyone in the city must have seen these posters by now. He was famous and thought Riley. Does anyone know about Riley? Not Miss Riley, but Riley, W-R-Y-L-Y, is like kind of roughly. He's not a big fan of this. But not in the way he wanted. There would be no glorious moment in the gathering hall steps after all. Instead of making his father proud, he would cause him dreadful worry. This thought made him so sad that his knees felt suddenly light. How could he just vanish without a word? But it was too late now. He couldn't go back. If only there was some way to send him a message. And in a moment, he realized there was. He stopped, fished in his pack for the paper and pencil he had brought, and scribbled on it. Father, we have found the way out. It was in the pipeworks after all. You will know this by tomorrow. Love, Jim. He folded this in quarters, wrote delivered to Morris Harrow in big letters on the outside, and pinned it to the kiosk. There. That was the best he could do. He would have to trust that someone would deliver it. In the distance, he heard the faint sound of singing. He listened. It was the song of the river just ending, far below with the blood of the earth from the center of nowhere rushing forth. He sang under his breath. Like everyone in Ember, he knew the 3 songs by heart. He sang along softly with faraway singers, making light for the lamps of Ember, older than anyone can remember, faster than anything anyone knows. The river comes and the river goes. Rim Street, now to River Road. He was halfway there. The singers were starting on the song of darkness. It was his favorite, with its powerful, deep harmony. Keep on, raise your head up. Keep on. Let me just say it. Let me just track. It was was his favorite? He was a little sorry to be missing it. He went up Hot Street to the side of empty River Road Square, where another poster hung crookedly on the kiosk, and he was headed toward North Street when suddenly the lights flickered and went out. He jolted to a stop. Stand still and wait. That was his automatic response. In the distance, he heard a dip in the sound of the singing, some startled voices breaking the flow. But then, the song rose again, defying the darkness. For a moment, all thoughts vanished from Dune's mind. There was nothing but the fearless words of the song. Hey, we need to like air out your foot this time. You gotta pay attention to what we're doing. You gotta track with Geos. Yanti, silent tracking. We're almost done with this first part. Black is sleep and deep is dreaming darkness like an endless night. Yet with the streets of ember bright and bravely shines our light. He sang, standing still in the blackness. When the song ended, he waited. The lights would surely come back. For a few minutes there was silence, and then, far away, but piercingly clear, he heard a scream. More screams and shouts followed, and the sounds of the panic. Followed the sounds of the panic. He felt the panic himself, like a hand taking hold of him, making him want to leap up and fling himself against the dark. So, let's pause here. Let's fill out one for each of these first 3 pages. What's one thing that interests us? Silent raise hand. What's one thing that interests us from this part? What? Everybody's looking for Dune. Okay? So that can be our first thing. So everybody, I'm giving you the first free answer. So everybody's going to have at least one, then you'll do it on your own. So, Yanti? Everyone's looking for Dune. Why is that interesting to us? Chris Bernard. Yanti? Why is that interesting to us?
You guys have about 10 minutes.
Why is that interesting to us? Right. Why did you write that down? Why is it interesting to us? Yanti, do I need to move you? Because he's telling the truth. Perfect. What's one question that we have?
What are they going to do to Dune when they find
What are they going to do in June? Okay, good.
Same thing.
So everybody's writing, what are they going to do to Dune when they find him?
I think the mayor's gonna do something.
You think the mayor's going to give them food? The supplies? He's going to share the supplies? Why do you think he'd be looking for them?
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you say he's going to give
You
them
look so
supplies?
great, someone could have statue of
It's like Dune or Dune.
Dune. D-O-O-N.
Oh, I said Dune.
And what's the summary of the first 3 pages? We're not going to write this because we're going to write a summary of the whole thing, but if we had to summarize the first 3 pages, what's going on?
They're going to hunt him down.
They're gonna hunt him down. Dune is hiding.
Keep mine
They're gonna. He's
He's
running.
already out.
He's running. No, he's not out. He's still in the city. He's still in the city. What about the singing?
It's still going on.
It's still going on. Okay. And the lights have just gone out. All right. So you guys want me to keep reading? Do you want to read on your own? Okay. So I need voices off. Kevon. Kevon, you're about to get removed from the group. Okay, suddenly, with a flash of joy, he remembered. We're in the second paragraph.
Don't read.
I'm going to keep reading so we don't fall behind. But then I'll point out. Finish writing. I'm on the second paragraph here.
Right?
On 229. 229, your head. Suddenly, with a flash of joy, he remembered. He didn't have to wait for the lights to come back on. He had what no citizen of Ember had ever had before, a way to see in the dark. He set his pack down, untied the knot on top, and groped around inside until he found a candle. Down in the corner, he found the little pack of matches. scraped a match against the pavement and it flared up instantly. He held the flame to the string of the candle, and the string began to burn. He had light. He had the only light in the entire city. So he's got light, he's got what? Remember we talked about the matches? Remember we talked about the cover of the book is what?
Red light bulb.
A light bulb. And
Power of light.
power of light, okay? That's a recurring theme in our book. Yeah, can you put down the umbrella? He said it's back there, the candle didn't cast its light very far away. But it was enough to see at least the pavement in front of him.
You can do that.
He went slowly
You
along
can do it
Pine
on
Street,
pretties. You don't do it on that.
then turned left on North Street. At the end of the street was the wall of the pipeworks office. When he got to the pipeworks entrance, no one was there. A little cloud of moths came to flutter around the flame of his candle, but otherwise, that made you tracking, otherwise, moved in a plumber square. Give me one more space. There was nothing to do but wait. Doom blew the candle out and didn't want to use it all up in case the light stayed off a long time. He squatted down on the pavement, setting down his bundle and leaning against one of the big trash cans. He waited, listening to the distant shouts, and at last the light blinked again and came on. Lena was nowhere in sight. If the guards had found her and taken her, June preferred not to think about that yet. He would wait for a while. She would have been delayed by the blackout if she was on her way. He couldn't see the clock tower from here, but it was probably not quite 4 o'clock. What if she didn't come? The scene was over. The people were dispersing throughout the city, and the guards, no doubt, would soon resume the search for him. Bless you. Dune clasped his arms together and pressed them hard against his stomach, trying to stop the queasy fluttering. Well, when I read that last part, I'm wondering what happened to Lena. Who remembers what happened to Lena?
They took her in custody.
They took her, so the guards had her. So I'm remembering that as I read and I go on. If she didn't come, Dune had 2 choices. He could stay in the city and do what he could to save Lena, or he could go in the boat by himself and hope Lena could somehow free herself and tell people of the way out of Ember. He didn't like either of these plans. He wanted to go down the river, and he wanted to go with Lena. Dune stood up and hoisted his sack, lifted his sack up again. So it was 2 hoisted, means you hoist, lift it, so he lifts up the sack again. He was too restless to keep sitting. He walked down to Gapery Street and looked in both directions. Not a single person was in sight. He walked to Plummer Street, thinking that perhaps Lena was coming by way of the city's edge, as he had, to avoid being seen. After we finish reading, we can go after Kevin's book. But no one was there. He didn't see anyone when he went past Subway Street at the very end of the city. He had to decide what to do. He went and stood in the doorway of the pipeworks. Think, he said to himself, think. He was not even sure he could make the river journey by himself. How would he get the boat into the water? Could he lift it without help? On the other hand, how could he help Lena if he was in the hands of the mayor's guards? What could he possibly do that would not just get himself caught too? He felt sick. His hands were cold. He stepped out of the doorway and scanned the square once again. Nothing moved but the moths around the light. And then down Gapery Street, Lena came running. He came slantwise across the square and he dashed to meet her. She was hugging a bundle to her chest. I've come. I'm here. I almost didn't make it, she said, breathing so hard she could barely talk. And look, she folded the blanket of her bundle. Dune saw a curl of brown hair and 2 wide, frightened eyes. I brought Poppy. Dune was so glad to see Lena, but he didn't mind at all that Poppy was coming with her. With them, making a risky journey even riskier. Relief and excitement flooded through him. They were going. They were going. Also notice the word flooding. Okay, this chapter talks a lot about water. That's not a theme that we can note when we talk about themes in our book discussions later. So I'm noting that flood and that water imagery that the author's using. Okay, he said, come on. With his borrowed key, he opened the pipeworks door, and they heard just the little slickers on their hooks and the lines of rubber boots. Dune dashed into the pipeworks office along to replace the key on its hook. Prep point Geo was assuming